Hi, I'm Dr. Shelley Meyer. Today we're going to talk about how to stop perimenopause and menopause bloating. Thanks so much for coming back if you're coming back to my channel, and thanks so much for joining me for the first time if you're here for the first time. I'm a functional medicine doctor, family doctor, and registered dietitian, and I do videos on this channel about perimenopause, menopause, and gut health. So if you'd like to check any of those old prior videos out, I'd really appreciate your support on the channel, and I'd love for you to hit the like button and the subscribe button and to keep coming back to help keep the channel growing. But today let's talk a little bit about how to stop perimenopause or menopause bloating, and it can apply to late perimenopause too. If you're interested in any information on early perimenopause or estrogen dominance, you can find a lot of videos on the channel about that. So I am going to be referencing my blog. If you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. And so I have a complete blog on about this topic on my blog website, perimenopause.help. And it's called The Ultimate Guide How to Stop Menopause Bloating. So it's quite common to get bloated during perimenopause and menopause. It's the hormone shifts. It's a lot of times from extra water or gas we get in our bellies, and that's coming from the hormone shift, and also digestion changes. So we can have sometimes an increased risk of our bacteria getting imbalanced, not only in other microbiomes like I talked about in my last video, but also in the gut microbiome when we're in a perimenopause, late perimenopause, or menopause. So it can slow digestion, make you more sensitive to foods, and have more trouble digesting in general, and that can cause bloating. So that, if you have questions on perimenopause itself, like I said, there's a lot of videos, but that can start anywhere between late 30s. Usually it's more early to mid 40s. And then menopause can start like late 40s, early 50s usually. And menopause is the day you've gone a year without a period. So the stages, like I said, you can have some early perimenopause stages where you have estrogen dominance, and that can follow with a stage of having ups and downs, a roller coaster of perimenopause symptoms. And then you can, all the while your progesterone is dropping gradually in perimenopause, and then your estrogen starts to drop. You hit late perimenopause, and then you go into not having periods, and then when you've gone a year without a period, then you're technically post-menopause, but everybody refers to it as menopause. Other things, hot flashes, night sweats, vaginal dryness, discomfort, mood swings, irritability, but also this bloating is one that's not talked about, and it's quite common in digestive issues. So like I said, it can be changes in the gut bacteria, because the gut bacteria has a role in processing estrogen, and it's when you have changes in your estrogen, you can have changes in your gut bacteria and vice versa. You can also have water and gas retention from your hormone changes during this time period. So there's a lot of changes in the GI tract. Now, what can you do about it? Also stress. You can have a lot of mood and anxiety, like mood changes, anxiety, stress, depression. That can all affect your gut too, because we have a lot of our serotonin receptors are in our gut. So when we have a lot of stress going on in our lives, or anxiety, depression, that can affect our gut health too. Also, you're not sleeping as well usually in perimenopause and menopause, and again, that can contribute to our gut health. So there's a lot of links between gut health and hormone health, and that's why I talk about it so much on the channel. So definitely, if there's long-lasting or severe bloating, you want to see your doctor and not just rely on anything I'm saying on this channel, because I can't provide you with individual medical advice. But if it's not to that degree, you can consider some of these things. So first, you can work on regulating your hormones. I have lots of videos on that, on the different herbs I use, different hormonal approaches I use, different lifestyle changes. But you can also work on hydration. I usually recommend drinking half your body weight, up to 100 ounces, half your body weight in water per day, and preferably filtered water. You can also add lemon or cucumber to your water, and that can help it be even more beneficial to the gut. But this can help you have regular bowel movements, and can help you be less bloated and have, believe it or not, less water retention. You can also exercise. You want to exercise. So moving, getting your steps in, getting 10,000 steps or more a day, or starting smaller and getting like 5,000 steps a day, and working your way up to 10,000 is helpful. strength training and cardiovascular exercise, so getting that heart rate up into the low zone 1 or 2, zone 2 or 3, preferably staying at zone 2. And I'll put some references in the description on what that is, can help. And then strength training can also be very helpful, and I have some videos on that, to gut health too, and to hormone balance. Now, some other things I recommend in my practice, I often recommend castor oil packs, and I'll put a link to my favorite, and that can help with digestion issues and hormone balance, particularly when you're in that estrogen dominant phase. Getting enough fiber. One fiber that I really love is sun fiber. I'll put a link in the description. But getting your 30 to 35 grams fiber helps your detoxification pathways, helps your hormones, get rid of the excess, like unhealthy version of the hormones when it's going through the detoxification process, and can help your gut feel a lot better. Then also ginger and fennel. I do like those 2 herbs, and peppermint also can help to reduce bloating too. Then let's make sure I'm not, the dietary changes, that's what I was going to talk about. So you do want to work on not having too much of fatty and fried foods. Again, you want to have a high fiber diet, so not only the supplemental fiber like the sun fiber, but getting your 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables, with most of those being vegetables, is important. Trying to avoid added sugars, so sugars from natural fruit is fine, but anything in excess can trigger and feed our bad bacteria in our gut, and then cause more bloating and digestion issues. And then you may want to consider giving up gluten. A lot of times gluten intolerance can get worse when we have hormone imbalances, so trying to give up gluten, being gluten-free for at least 28 days and seeing if that helps your bloating. Or you can also try to give up dairy, maybe not at the same time as gluten, but you might want to do it at the same time as gluten. The problem I see with people with elimination diets is they give up both at the same time, and then they add them all back at the same time, and then we don't know what the issue was. So try, when you add back, just adding one food group at a time, even just one thing from that food group. So like dairy, maybe just adding in hard cheese first, then softer cheeses, and then maybe milk if you have that. I wouldn't add ice cream back in if you could just make that a once in a while thing. And then gluten, a lot of us don't really benefit from high gluten foods, so I usually recommend people leave that out. But if you're tied to it, if you love it and you choose only healthy forms of gluten, then you could try adding that back in and seeing if it makes a difference. I also have a lot of other videos on elimination diets and gut health too. So you could also try to add probiotics. Last week I talked about my favorite probiotics for bacterial vaginosis, and a lot of those strains I did mention could be really good for gut health. So I would check that video out, and also consider, yogurt, even though it's a dairy, it can be very beneficial in bloating and gut health. And fermented veggies like sauerkraut and kimchi, kombucha, as long as it doesn't have a lot of sugar in it, and tempeh can be other ways to get some of your beneficial probiotics in your food instead of a supplement. And again, staying hydrated, let's make sure I'm not missing it. The regular exercise is important. And then working on stress. So trying some deep breathing exercises, maybe a meditation app. My favorite is Aura. I'll put a link to that in the description where you can save some money. But that one is awesome. It has all different kinds of breath work, meditation, prayer, even for the people that are spiritually aligned with prayer, or they have some hypnosis. They have a lot of everything for everyone, 5, 10, 20, even like 2-hour versions, all on an app, and you can just really work with it for your preferences. Yoga or Tai Chi is very beneficial. And like I said, the deep breathing exercises, journaling, progressive muscle relaxation, and getting that regular exercise, and then finding exercise and hobbies and activities you like with supportive people, and kind of getting those people that are making your life more stressful, setting boundaries, getting them out of your life if you can. So I have a lot of videos on stress management too. So hopefully this was helpful. If you want to check out the blog, that has everything and even more in there on this topic. And I thank you so much for joining me. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video out to keep the channel going. And I'll see you next time.